and welcome to the Ron Glickman Show, the show that explores the human factor around business and entrepreneurship in a hybrid, changing world. I'm Ron Glickman, your host, a global business development specialist, business relationship, and personal branding amplifier and speaker. And today we will be speaking about manifesting your goals through spiritual networking. And before I'll present our guest speaker today, I should say I actually heard about him a few years before I've actually met him, and I'm so happy for you guys to get to know him as well today. So Gil Petersil, quantum networking and mastermind global expert, and so much more. How are you, Gil?
Very good. Coming to you live from Bali. Happy that I'm able to contribute my time and expertise and any kind of experience I've had to share with your audience and community.
And I'm really looking forward to it, to learning from you. There is so much to share, and I'm sure we'll have so much fun in this 1 hour, but you'll have to follow him for more. So Gil, I just want to give our listeners and viewers some more understanding about who you are before we actually going to jump into it. So listen carefully. Gil Petersil is a globally respected authority in business strategy and quantum networking with a proven track record of guiding over 200 companies to unprecedented success, and individual and corporate coach. He's serving as a distinguished regional partner for Tony Robbins. If you've been to his event, he brings unique blend of strategic insights and people-focused leadership to the forefront, and actually shaping the future of conscious entrepreneurship and organizational leadership on a global scale. I love that when I read about you, it says that you have a lot of experience from your successful failures, which I really like this term because there's so much to learn always, and also from obviously our failures. He is recognized for leveraging AI for revolutionizing business operations, and authored a best-selling book, New Code of Networking, offering transformative guide for navigating a modern business landscape. And obviously you are an event person. You have been showcased in over 1,000 or thousands of events globally, and today you're here with us, Gil. So we will actually going to focus on these main topics: what is spiritual and quantum networking, practical tools to improve results from spiritual networking, and the magic of mastermind, which I'm really looking forward to discussing with you about that. But before that, I always want to learn about, when I invite people to my show, I also want to learn what led you to do what you do. So what in your life led you to emphasize networking and quantum networking as actually as a profession?
Yeah, thank you. Wow, Liron, thank you for such a beautiful introduction. I always feel like, a little bit shy when I hear people saying all these things, because I'm like, oh my God, really? I've done so much in my life. Oh my God, I'm so happy I'm not so busy these days. It's in recent couple of years, I've tried to find ways of hacking the network and creating a lot of free time in my life. What led me to this is years of pain, of being alone, of having challenges without friends, being an introvert by nature, and being an immigrant since the age of 10, English being my third language, making friends, trying to meet girls and have a girlfriend. I only had my first girlfriend in my early 20s, trying to be successful and work or in business to climb up the ladder of a corporation, or to set up a new business and find the right team members and attract the right investors. I've done that so many times in the wrong way, because back then, no one taught me how to make friends. There is no class in school still today, and that's wrong. Why are we not being taught how to connect with others? We've been taught that a networking event is something that's shallow. And I used to go to networking events in different cities where I've lived around the world, in Canada, or in England, or in Russia, and a networking event was all about usually a bar, and everybody is drinking and a little bit of loud music, and everybody's trying to talk to each other. And it's usually the men trying to talk to the women, and business, and what do you do? And very quickly trying to close a deal. It was about, let's exchange business cards, let's do business together, let's sleep together, let's close a deal. And I did that because that's what society taught me to do. And for years, I felt that this is really wrong, because I came home drained and I came home unfulfilled. And after all these big, expensive dinners that I went to, I didn't feel nourished. I don't care how good the food was. If the dinner is not beautifully fulfilling, you do not feel full, like you've eaten good food, you've had great energy come into you. And the reason I look at networking today very differently to most, I look at it as a set of practices, as a set of spiritual rituals that would allow me to give attention to someone for a period of time. It allows me to have a system to follow up with someone. It allows me to truly be curious and where is this human being going in their lives? Not just what are they doing, but like where are they leading, or what are they like taking forward in life? What inspires them? And this level of curiosity for me is, you know, it's a today I believe it's a mastery that's taken me a lot of years to get there because of pain, because it's not nice for people to be single. Sometimes they don't want to be single, they don't know what to do, and they try to go to a networking event and they try to go on Tinder. But actually, if you look at networking as a set of really beautiful practices, it's so easy to meet amazing partners in life and in business. And I've taken a lot of my time in life to practice, and that's why I call them successful failures. I've done it, and I've lived in 7 countries. So I've done this in places where I've lived to make new friends, to meet, you know, new life partners. I've been with one woman now for the last 14 years, but in the last 9 months, we've gone through a conscious uncoupling. And this puts me once again in a position where, once again, I'm available to meet women, not for friendship of a business, but for a deeper, more intimate level. And I've realized that, wow, in the last 15 years, things have gotten much worse for single people in the world. And I'm like, my life mission is
welcome
now
to
deeper.
The game.
Yeah. So really, this journey has led me to just wanting to make it easier for people out there.
I love what you're saying, and I want to emphasize a few things about it. First of all, thanks for, again, being so open about your struggles, because I'm sure so many out there experiencing similar struggles in different times of their lives. As you mentioned about being alone, not knowing how to do things. Obviously, nobody teaches us how to network with people, but we do it all the time. I mean, you and I know it, understand how important it is. And also the fact that you did practice in different countries, I'm sure build your expertise even better because you were able to try it out in different cultures or types of people. But one of the things that really took my attention from based on your story is really the fact that you were saying that you were an introverted person, and there is this thing that people think that introverted cannot be networkers and only the extroverted are. So what are your thoughts about that?
To me, being an introvert, you know, society, I think, kind of got it wrong. And there's a lot of books that try to write about this. And I think also a lot of these books don't see the depth of what an introvert's role is in society. And for me, it's the same thing as we've been diagnosed as youngsters. Many of us have 50% of the world, apparently, with dyslexia or ADHD or autism. And all of these could be seen by others as a mental challenge in life. But actually, I've learned that all of them, including being an introvert, is a superpower. And if you see it as a superpower and you try to give it time and attention, what does it mean? So people always have this kind of fun things and masterminds. People go around the table and say, hey, what is your superpower? Or another one that's really fun is, if you could choose any superpower in the world, what would it be for you? And people would say, I want to fly. I want to see through walls. I want to listen to people's thoughts, you know? But for me, being able to connect with people at a deep level, that is a superpower. Exactly. I have severe ADHD. It allows me to multitask like most humans cannot. Dyslexia doesn't allow me to read books comfortably, but it inspired me to listen to books. And combining dyslexia and ADHD, I can't listen to the whole book for a few hours, so I'll listen to the shortcut in books in 15 minutes. But it puts me in a position where if I have a topic like divorce or separation or uncoupling, in the first 3 months of my wife and I going through this, I went through more than 100 books. And easily, to me, for you, that is a superhuman power. So being an introvert allows me to give more attention to some people, allows me to understand that if I go into a heavy, busy place with a lot of people talking this, which is unhealthy for anyone, I don't thrive during that space. I need to have a little bit of space for myself. This is why I like the stage, because if you're on stage as a speaker, you have nothing behind you, which is really important as an introvert. Like, worst place for an introvert to stand is next to the bar. Activity in front of you, activity in back of you, it drains your energy. Being on stage in front of people, I'm here to give you my energy. Give me a little energy
just
back.
take it.
And
Exactly.
yeah, and I've learned all these hacks on how to replenish my energy, how to, repurpose and realign my energy, so I'm giving my attention and energy and time to the right people, and I'm able to get it back as well. So I highly recommend to all the introverts that are listening to understand, and anyone that has to get ADHD or any of the others, see them as superpowers and study how you can utilize them to better your life.
Beautiful, beautiful tip. Actually make this lemon, which some people may see it, into a lemonade, because there's so much depth and richness into each of these challenges that we experience. So I really love the fact that you emphasize it. Now, on our previous call, we shared, our thoughts around networking, and you mentioned spiritual networking. And I was like, Gil, what do you mean by spiritual networking? And you started to explain what it means. And that's actually what led to this interview. And I want to ask you, in your view, Gil, what is spiritual networking, and what is the difference or similarities between quantum networking that you're very much so into?
So in general, quantum networking entanglements is something quite new for me. In the past about a year and a half or so, I have found professors in the world who help me to understand the depth of networking that most of us don't understand. I don't yet fully understand it. For me, if I look at the world of networking and everything, the complexities of building relationships and starting conversations and building a brand and negotiating to, anything that is so complex. On my best days in networking, with all the systems and networking angels and procedures and everything I've learned and have, and I've been on the cover of many magazines around the world, the cover as a networking guru. On my best days, I would see myself as maybe a 6 or a 6.5 out of 10.
Yeah.
And this fact made me sad when I realized that many years ago, that a lot of the world that I look around me, they believe they are an 8 out of 10, but actually they're a 1 out of 10. And that made me look for depth. That made me look for, what are we not seeing? What like, I'm seeing my world. So I've been really good at networking. I've managed to start 20 plus companies, and I've managed to raise money for over 100 companies, and I've managed to travel around the world, and I can come and make friends. And sure, I've even teach my kids. I have 3 young kids. I teach them how to network and make friends and change friends. But what about everyone around me? What if my network around me doesn't have harmony? How does that affect me? And I went very deep into it because, as you might know, I've been really active in the world of spiritual and personal development for years now. I've spent a lot of time with Eckhart Tolle and Tony Robbins and another probably 10 plus huge teachers in the world. And I've built businesses around them, like multi-million-dollar businesses serving Tony Robbins. So I've helped host the biggest event in Eckhart Tolle's life. And that experience with them took me to a level of understanding that my own personal development, developing myself, is nice, but actually hacking the system is looking at spiritual networking. And it's starting to look at networking almost like karmic partnerships. And there's a really good book by one of my teachers, Geshe Michael Roach, who wrote the book Karmic Management. And within it, he speaks about karmic partnerships, which is, if I want to achieve something in my life, I want, for example, to write a book. I want to make $1 million. I want to find love. I want to buy a new car. I want to start a new business. I want to scale my business to another country. Whatever type of goals and dreams I have, can I take moments out of my life, minutes out of every day, find someone else who has the similar goal, and can I give my time and focus to help them achieve that goal? And that takes you to a depth of spiritual networking where it's not about, I am the center of my network and I am important in my network. And many people out there, including myself in the past, now I've learned to be better. I used to think that I'm very important within my network. I used to think that I'm the smartest guy in my network. And I realize now more than ever before that I am nothing without my network. I don't exist. There is no Gil Petersil on an island on his own. I don't think we'll survive very long. I don't believe, I think it will get very lonely. I'll go a little bit crazy. I don't know what's going to happen. But I've also realized that we don't achieve anything alone in our lives. Everything we achieve is because of other people. And that took me to a level of understanding that spiritual networking is being in service of others and not always constantly being in service of yourself, trying to always make me better, trying to always make me money, but make money because you want to serve others, or don't find a mentor to take from them. But like, I found Tony Robbins and I found ways of adding value to Tony Robbins. Like, it's changing what we've been taught about networking.
Sorry, I think that's actually one of your biggest moves, was actually how to connect with Tony Robbins through giving, through the art of, let me give you what you need. And so we will both benefit from a deep place, not from, okay, I'll give you what you need so you'll help me. It was real.
Yeah. And it was really beautiful that I was like, oh my God, you like, because Tony Robbins started giving me when I was 18 years old. I bought his CDs. And what was really amazing is that for years I was listening to him. I was like, but I'm not giving anything back. And I just took his CDs and I'm listening to hundreds of hours of listening again and again and again, repeat, trying to learn, trying to program my head differently to what society did. And then I found ways of serving him. I found a way to become one of the biggest promoters in the world for Tony, bringing thousands of people to his events every single year. So that to me is spiritual networking. The quantum networking is, again, I'm a very young student in quantum networking. Physicists and scientists will say to you that there's no such thing as quantum networking. And I say to them, because I look for these people in the world, and I say to them, well, it doesn't exist because we don't talk about it. It's the same thing as if you Google networking, it gives you computers networking. It doesn't give you the importance of humans connect. Yeah. So for me, quantum networking is understanding the depths of where networking could go. And what I tell people is to just like find yourself in an event, birthday party, any event, at a school party, at any kind of anywhere, any kind of an event, a conference, whatever, and just stop for a moment, stand in a corner, and see how much detail you could see currently happening in the network. The volume, the sound the network is making, how many people are talking to each other, facing each other heart to heart. How many people are half talking to you, half looking at all these nice girls walking by? How many people are holding their phones? How many people are eating or drinking while talking to each other? There is so much depth to how we can connect each other. And for me, what quantum networking is trying to basically improve on the algorithms that I have already to help people build partnerships, to help people attract investors. Instead of attracting one client, I'll help them use quantum networking methodologies to create a partnership and have as many clients as they can ever imagine. I help people, and I help investors now understand how they can use quantum networking strategies to invest more mindfully in things that they're very proud of, not only things that can make them money. So it's really looking at the deep aspects of all these beautiful humans we have around us. How much magic can we really create?
And that connects me to what you started with. You're saying, I didn't want to just go to networking events. I want to understand who is this person who's standing there with champagne, and what his thoughts are, what his aspirations are. And once you understand it, you can connect to them on a spiritual or quantum level. And you just mentioned investor, but I want to take it to the other side. Many of our listeners are either startup founders or innovators within their organizations. So how can they use, if you can give us a practice that they can use in order to leverage quantum networking to achieve either get their boss to say yes, or get an investor to be more interested in them or in investing in them? So is there any practical tips that they can take right now?
So I'll give you 3 little tips that are generic.
I'll take 3.
every audience member you have is in a different stage of their life, and every scenario is different. That's why I always tell people there is no one perfect pickup line for a woman. There is no one perfect way of starting a conversation, but there is a way to try to make that connection as meaningful as possible. So 3 little tips that would work for the audience that I believe in. They're a big part of my philosophy of networking in general. So number 1 is have a complementary mindset, meaning whenever you step into any situation of networking, can you activate your brain to be thinking something positive, something complimentary about the person in front of you? Like, just think how useful you could be for this person, how useful this person could, like, don't be, because most people when connect, they're thinking, who is this person? What are they going to do for me? Are they a potential client? Is she sexy? Is she not? Is she a girl? Like, we criticize and we judge right away as humans in order to protect ourselves from potential strangers, potential harm from people, from potential people that will take our energies away. And the trick is to right away convert your mindset and to be actively thinking something positive. They look good. They look confident. I'm certain this person can work their magic. I'm certain if I ask them the right question, they could share something amazing with me. So practicing that. And if you're not sure how to practice this, please ask GPT or ask Google, what's the top 10 ways or what's the top 100 ways of complimenting people? I have an angel that's just joined me. You could say hi to everyone, but I'm going to ask you for a little bit of time to go help sisters have some fun together. Learning how to network with kids is a beautiful practice I've gone super deep on, by the way. It's been really, really amazing for me to learn these tips that I'm sharing with you guys, like on complimenting someone in your head before connecting with them. You practice learning how to also compliment people verbally. Learning how to compliment your kids, especially when they're driving you a little bit crazy, is really powerful, because a lot of us are parents that some people out there maybe are single parents. Maybe some people out there are not as fortunate as I am. We live in Bali. We have helpers, we have nannies, we have chefs working with us. So it's easier. But I love being able to be in a situation where my kids are driving me crazy. There's 3 of them. But I find a way to compliment them, not only in my head, but speaking it out. So number 1, practice complimenting. Ask ChatGPT top 100 ways of complimenting people in your head, and then learn how to practice sharing them with people when you feel comfortable. Number 2 is curiosity. Curiosity is something that I had to develop. I had to pick up the mastery of asking people questions. When I was in my early 20s, I was living in London, and this is before, like, I think even Google, this is 25 years ago. I had to find different websites that gave me ideas of what questions to ask women on a date. So a really good hack for anyone out there that wants to grow in life is learn how to ask people really good questions. If you want to move up the corporate ladder, learn how to raise your hand and ask a good question. Many people don't ask questions because they think they might be a stupid question, or they think they let someone else asking, or they're shy. Asking questions is a really beautiful way to network. Like, I'm going to put it out there for all of you out there. If you were to meet Elon Musk right now, what question would you ask him? And I've played this game with so many people in my life where we would sit down in a mastermind and say, hey, what would be the person that you would most want to meet this month in your life? And what question would you ask them and why? That's a very powerful thought for you to just consider and reflect on, whoever you are out there listening. So practice asking people questions. Why do you do what you do? What gets you up in the morning? And again, use Google or ChatGPT. Top 10 questions to ask investors. Top 10 questions to ask customers to build trust. Top 10 questions not to ask women. Consider all of those.
And I have to add one more thing. I find it working with different professionals that many times people are just uncomfortable in just asking questions. And I always say, when you ask someone a question, they feel flattered, because as Dale Carnegie said, when you're interested in somewhere else, you become more interesting. So don't be afraid to ask those questions. Great tip. Great tip.
Yeah. So that was the 2. The 3rd tip is the hardest one to master. It's the art of following up. As people, I believe human beings have 2 massive weaknesses that we don't give enough attention to: networking and time management. I think that everything in life is achievable very easily. Everything, making money, everything is easy. Being healthy, it's all easy. If we learn to manage the way we network and we learn to manage time, we could work a lot more magic. We can manifest a lot more in our lives. And following up requires a really good skill and time management. It requires you to give that person another minute the next day, and another minute the next day after that. And a lot of us don't have those skills. We don't have those systems in place. So to all entrepreneurs out there, consider taking, out of it. We have 1,000 minutes a day on average that we're awake. An average person sleeps for about, 500 minutes a day. every person has 1,440 minutes in a day.
Yeah.
We sleep for some hours, awake for about 1,000 or so. I tell people, take 100 minutes out of that day and see if you could be very intentional with each of those minutes. You could break it down whichever way you want, but see if you could take 1% of that. So out of the 100 minutes, just take, 1 minute. Or out of the 1,000 minutes, if you take 1%, it's just 10 minutes. And during those 10 minutes, scroll down onto connections that you've not connected with in maybe 3 months or 6 months, and leave them each a 1 minute voice message, saying something
1
positive.
minute voice message. Yeah.
Complimenting them, show them curiosity, help them be more curious in you, show them interest. And as Liron said, you'll become a very interesting person.
That's a top tip. And really, like if you'll do it, I'm sure you'll see great change and impact in your life. Now, I want to take on that because what you said here, and again, going back to the spiritual and quantum, you're saying it's not just doing for the sake of doing, it's doing for the sake of really listening to yourself, to the environment, to the other person, really connecting while you're doing it. And obviously, as we know, relationship starts with ourselves. So if you can give us another maybe fine-tuning of the mindset, of the approach that I should take when I'm going out there to meet my boss or to a gathering or anywhere else, to be better at the spiritual aspect of networking. So what should I do with myself, mindset approach, to nail it better?
Yeah, so I would say we step back and back and back. Forget for a second going to the event. First of all, ask yourself, when I choose to go to an event, do I know why I'm going to this event? What is my purpose at this event? What is my intention at this event? How do I feel right now? Just asking yourself, how do I feel about going to this event? Interesting. Am I afraid? Am I excited? Am I tired? Am I bored a little bit? Am I using this event as a distraction? Am I using this event to just sell? Or am I using this event to meet new friends? Like, what is my purpose? And that already helps you understand a lot. Are you on a spiritual journey in your life? Or are you just going through life as as a rat in a rat race, and life doesn't lead you anywhere? And at one point you find yourself in your 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s questioning all the thousands and thousands of minutes you've spent every single day in your life, not being intentional with how you connect with others. So I would say start with asking yourself, how do I feel about going to this event? Once you have an answer, ask yourself, what sort of goals do I have from this event? Like, what would make this event really great? Like, I would say, wow, I loved it. Is it the music? Is it the food? Is it the quality of conversations? Some people want to go to an event and they want to close a client. Some people want to go to an event and they want to take a woman home, or some women want to take a man home. I don't know. But, they have that goal. Now, I personally don't believe in one-night stands. So I believe that trying to go to an event and close a deal, whether it's a business deal or a relationship, an intimate deal, I don't think makes any sense. It doesn't. It's like, it's such bad investment. It's such bad networking because you haven't formed anything in the relationship. I connect networking a lot to nature. And I want people to consider that when they're in a mindset position of going to an event. Think about nature. When we plant anything in nature, we need to give it love and attention, sun, water for a while before anything comes out of the ground, before any results. We see a green leaf that comes out of the ground. But actually what is happening while we give it our energy and time, sun, Mother Earth gives it energy, it's actually building relationships underneath the ground. We cannot see them, but its roots are building underground, and they're not just building roots into the earth. That's what most people think. They're actually searching for other roots. They're searching to connect with the network in order to have confidence. Now I can have results. What I try to tell people when going to an event, if you have a goal for an event, don't try to have a result as closing a new client. Try to have a goal as, can I build some new roots with some people? Can I connect with someone deeply so that I want to have lunch with them tomorrow? And maybe during lunch, we'll understand that we're a good match for each other. So can I build something that is underneath? It's deeper than just the surface of let's have results. What do you do? How can we do something together?
Exactly.
But what led you to what you've been doing until today? Or what purpose does your business have? Or, why did you choose to start such a business? What did you take away from your last business that inspires you the most? Ask people questions that would help you build something deeper, and that would help people feel better about those relationships. Because once you get to the events, it's easy. As long as you know how to compliment people in your head, you feel more attractive to people. Once you understand how to ask people questions, you got 2 ears and 1 mouth. Ask people double the amount of questions and listen to them as much as you speak. People are going to love you if you listen to them. It's great.
And as you said at the beginning, like, we actually don't ask ourselves such question. Why do I go to the event? What do I want to achieve? How do I want it to be? How do I want to feel? Who do I want to meet? These are crucial questions, and I asked you to rewind and just write them down, because just tuning ourselves to a conference, to a meeting with our boss, to any type of interaction, asking such questions will bring us more aligned to ourselves and to the results. So these were amazing points that will really makes a difference. Now, we are talking about the next stage of after the event, or after we met, about manifestation, how to manifest your network. And I want to take it actually from, ask you a question based on your experience, because you actually, as you mentioned also earlier, you manifested relationships with people we all admire, such as Tony Robbins, Richard Branson, Kit Ferrazzi. I grew up on Kit Ferrazzi as well. How did you accomplish this? If you can give us your manifestation hack, and what did you learn from these people, since you're in constant interaction with them? What did you learn from them, or even what did you get to teach them about networking? So how did you manifest, and about some insights from your relationship with them?
Yeah, it's so I got to try to I'm trying to keep my answers short as much as I can to give you a chance to ask me more questions. I'm learning how to do that better in life.
You just have so much to share. It's our honor, we learn more.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. So first of all, not everyone that's listening believes in the art or the magic of manifestation. And it doesn't matter if you believe it or not. It doesn't matter if you believe in magic. It doesn't matter if you believe in aliens. It doesn't matter if you believe in that. What matters is that the way manifestation works is that when two people come together, but them speaking about something, that's the only way that something could be created. I don't believe that we can create anything on our own. I also believe that, again, looking at it from a spiritual, religious, God, the universe, it wasn't created from one. Again, some of the Jewish folks out there might say, hey, Gil, what's going on? There's only one God. Well, we're not going to get into that topic right now, but I think that it's not many gods, but somehow it's a multiple. We don't understand that fully yet. And I'm not going to get into it because I'm very much of a spiritual person who does believe in God, but I believe that God is not many gods, but it's many. It's many that came together and created. And I think that's how we can create. We come together. Too many of us believe that we could do it on our own because we've been taught that. Our parents taught us you could do it on your own, do it on your own. No, we cannot do much on our own in life. So manifestation is really the co-creation of anything we wish to see in our lives. And if you wish to co-manifest anything in your life, you need to do it with others. And then you have a choice. You got 8 billion people in the world. Cool. Am I stuck with the people that I grew up with? Like, am I stuck with my family? Am I stuck with my neighbors? Am I stuck with the people that I went to school with? Or can I step out of those networks? Can I look elsewhere? Can I look at someone who's higher up than me and step up? Because in my family, we were taught that rich people made their money not in a nice way. And rich people were greedy people. And I was not taught nice things about rich people, but I know a lot of kings in the world and queens. And I know a lot of billionaires. And I know them I'm not saying that I know them to show off. I'm saying that I know them and I found ways of adding. I'm so proud that I've never taken money from a billionaire. But I'm really loving it that a billionaire calls me 2 days ago asking me for help. I love that. I love that Keith Ferrazzi and I are now really good friends. When he shows up in Bali, wants to hang out. He wants to do an event. He wants to he wants to mastermind. He's asking me to help him find some land so he can find a house here in Bali. I love that I can add value to people like this. I love that, Tony Robbins in 2018 invited me to his home so we could speak about masterminds and we could speak about how to grow in different cultures and in different regions where you haven't reached out. And the fact that Tony Robbins tells me that networking is not his strength, I was like, first of all, thank you, but don't worry about it. Most people are really bad at networking. It's not just you. And even me, I'm only learning how to be a great student. People keep on telling me I'm a networking guru. No, I'm the #1 networking student in the world. That I know for a fact because I'm curious and interested in how to learn it. So trying to meet with people like Tony Robbins and Eckhart Tolle and Richard Branson, all these was a strategy on #1, identifying people that I look up to. So I identified all these people. #2, how can I find a way to being in their proximity? Can I go to their events? Can I read from them? Can I listen to them? Can I make them my mentors without them even knowing? Yes, spend 1 hour a day listening to Tony Robbins. He will become your mentor whether he likes it or not. And then there was the next level. How do I get to be at his event? Or how do I get to become important for him? What steps can I take? And that requires brain power. It might not come to you right away. It required me to think way outside of my comfort zone. How can I add value to Tony Robbins? How can I add value to Richard Branson? With Richard Branson, my adding value to him was asking him a really powerful question. When I was there with like 20 people and backstage before he was about to go on stage, it was like me and like 20-ish more people in a room. And everyone in the room was asking him, it's like they were asking him like top 10 questions to ask Richard Branson. You can find all of these questions on the web. You can find all the answers on the web. Richard answers them all the time. He's tired of answering the same question
so what did you ask
again and
him?
again. I asked him, hey, Richard, I recently read that you were looking to create a new route for Virgin Airline. And maybe myself or someone in the room can help find a solution for you, especially here between Moscow and London. So and suddenly you have this whole room looking at me. I asked him a question that would bring value to him based on research that I did about his needs.
Exactly.
But I also didn't say that I could provide a solution. I put myself within the network. So suddenly I said myself or someone in this room, because I knew the people in that room were extremely rich, successful people. And suddenly all of them look at me, were like, Gil, that's a genius way to add value to Richard Branson and get Richard to want to meet us again one-on-one. Like, what the F, And for me, I had even a follow-up question. I had ways of preparing. I got ready to network. And it's the same thing with Tony. I didn't meet Tony. The first event I came to him, I brought 25 people with me. As that was our first kind of way of adding value to him. We brought 25 people to his event. But it was not enough to, dent anything. It was not enough for him or his team to be interested.
Yeah.
But the year after, I brought 200 people to his event. And I brought 200 people from Russia. And they've never had a group from Russia come to his event before. But my objective during that year was to find ways of networking. So with Tony, it was nice that the first time I actually met up with Tony, I made sure that he knew who I was. I didn't need to introduce myself. So I made sure that his VIP clients, his team members, even his family, they met me at the first event. They met me at the second event. And I found a way to get Tony's brother-in-law to bring me to Tony and introduce me. I didn't want to just stand in line with all the other promoters. I said, hey, I'm happy to be at the back of the line. Make me last. So when I'm coming to meet with Tony, you will introduce me to Tony. And he's like, hey, Tony, this is Gil. And I was like, nice. So the trick is that first of all, be patient. Second of all, find ways of adding value to these people. Third of all, be patient. Fourth, find what their needs are. Fifth, be patient. It takes time to meet the most incredible people in the world, but they're all human. They all need help.
Exactly. And I want to summarize this in the fact that manifestation doesn't mean that you want to meet Tony Robbins and tomorrow you meet Tony Robbins. You need to aim, as you said at the beginning, strategy, and then you just walk through the way and you understand how to leverage and use your brain power to make the most out of the circumstances that you have created, like going to their events. and be patient and make sure to meet them. And that's how you manifest it. I love it. These are great tips and great stories, and really all comes down to eventually giving value to others. It's not about me, it's how can I serve them, if I'm kind of summarizing what you're saying. Now I have a few more quick questions for you.
Manifestation, as you said, is multiple steps.
Yeah.
And it's basically multiple stage of networking hacks. So people need to understand that manifestation is not just setting a goal and achieving it, but it's doing many, many small steps towards having the life you could dream of. And
these steps are something that you need to acquire and learn and again, trial and error and find a way to do it. But that's really important. So really, I think I'm taking from this story, the notion of being patient, because it's really not easy, but that's how things are working in life. And the next quick question is really about Mastermind, because you've also built yourself as a globally known facilitator of Mastermind. And I know you have your own different ways to do it, but we both read the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, that I remember vividly from there how he mentioned his invisible counselors, how he had those meetings with some of the world's biggest and greatest business people and got some guidance or information from them, like spiritually. So what are your tips to creating really good mastermind, either with spiritual beings or with human beings? How do you see it?
Yeah, masterminds for me definitely came through Napoleon Hill, but actually about 9 years ago, I joined the mastermind. It was very expensive. It was like $20,000, which was a big investment for me back then. And the promise of this mastermind is to help surround me with great mentors. And when I joined it, I was very disappointed. I'm like, hey, these people are not super successful people at that level of life. Yeah. What's going on? But what I learned very quickly is that mentors don't have to be 100 times above me or more successful than me. And a mentor could be someone in a completely different industry that's managed to learn how to motivate people better, managed to learn how to have a successful business with their wife, managed to learn how to manage cash flow, managed to learn how to recruit, managed to learn how to be creative in marketing. A mentor is just someone that managed to excel in something that you can use. And in that mastermind that I was in, I found that a lot of these people around me were very similar to me in some levels. Some were a few steps under, some were a few steps above. Everyone that had to pay $20,000, of course, it's like not everyone can afford to be there. But what was really special is that I managed to get so much value from sharing what I need right now, what help I need right now. And instead of giving me solutions, they gave advice. They gave their opinion. They shared their experience. And what I took away from that is that really, in order to do more of what I want, not only do I need to connect with people, but I could choose to learn how to activate the collective genius. And the collective genius is that basically understanding that, hey, most billionaires in the world are not geniuses. Most billionaires in the world did not go to university. Most billionaires in the world are really good at surrounding themselves with smart people. Those smart people could be team members, advisors. Most of billionaires that I know are part of one or multiple masterminds where they get to share, they get to resonate with each other, they get to choose to be vulnerable with each other. For example, YPO has forum, and they meet every single month, and they each have time for each other to share what's going on in their lives right now. They're choosing to be very vulnerable, both life and in business. They choose to give numbers, choose to share challenges they might have with their loved ones. And others don't give advice, but other ones choose just to resonate. Hey, this is maybe something that I went through that maybe will resonate with you, or this is a story that went through in my life that, might compel you to take further action or similar actions. In my masterminds, I believe in using time. I believe in using algorithms to allow everyone to be equal. I believe in always bringing in mentors and experts into the space itself. I've helped launch over 200 masterminds and business clubs around the world, from big corporations to governments, and of course, many entrepreneurs. I enjoy it very much because it brings structure to a community. And I think it's important for everyone to explore being a part of a community that's outside of their comfort zone.
Yeah.
A lot of people say, yeah, Gil, I don't need a mastermind. I have my family, I have my friends. They give me the best advice. No, they're keeping you and the network. And that's okay for some people. Not everyone has a dream to step out of their network and to spread their wings. And a mastermind does that. A mastermind helps you step out of your comfort zone, which is where breakthroughs happen.
Exactly.
And a breakthrough doesn't have to hurt. A breakthrough could be a very gentle push where you have a few people bringing you up. And this is something that Keith Ferrazzi coined and I love very much. It's a process of co-elevation. You don't grow by yourself, you grow with the network around you.
So if I want to start a mastermind right now, what would you suggest? What would be the first steps to do it? On the one hand, you're saying try to get people outside of your immediate network because you already know them, they already know you. There is nothing new here, with all the respect. What else would be the best tips to build a good, supportive mastermind?
Yeah, I would say, one, be ready to invest not just your time, but your money. A lot of masterminds in the world are free. I think that anything free when it comes to personal development, people are not necessarily kept accountable. So if you want a really good mastermind, be ready to invest your time and your money. I think it's smart. You don't have to invest $20,000, but invest something, whatever you're comfortable with, that again, takes you out of your comfort zone. It's an investment, which means you want a return on investment, which means you'll be there, you'll stay committed, you'll write notes, you'll follow up with people. Number two, choose the reason. Do you want a mastermind that will help you with business strategy? So there's a lot of masterminds on that. So there's masterminds that are more focused on marketing. There are masterminds that are just for women or just for men. There are masterminds that are more about personal life. Like here, I'm a part of a men's mastermind in Bali that we don't talk business at all. We share vulnerable positions. We share what's going on with challenges in life. We open up to each other. It's very interesting to hear. And many of them are extremely successful in business, but we'll speak business the next day over coffee, not during that mastermind time. So I would say choose the theme or topic of what it is that you want to cover. Choose if you're comfortable for this to be online, or some people need it to be offline. If it's offline, it's more limited because not all cities in the world have all options for mastermind. If you're willing to be virtually having a Zoom, camera is on, you're fully there, fully focused. As you could see, I'm doing an interview with you, but I still have kids coming in, and that's okay. Even in a good mastermind, having kids coming in, that's life. It happens. That's a part of bringing your network back into harmony. Yeah. So I would say do that. And then when you're joining a mastermind, just be ready to give. Be ready to share your stories. Be ready to share your connections. Be ready to share your advice, or, don't just come there and be an observer. A lot of people join the mastermind, they just come there to take. Come in and be ready to give.
Beautiful, beautiful. And just before we finish, I want to ask you, you shared so much about your view and how you connect with people and how you make things happen for others and for yourself. But what would be your best ritual or action that enable your personal and professional growth to be where it is today?
I have many. The ones I have today, I did not have years ago. Some of the rituals that I love that really help me in general to network, like, for example, a very simple one, I don't sleep with the phone anywhere in my bedroom, which means first thing in the morning, I'm not trying to network with the world. I'm networking with myself. I'm networking with God. Kids come to my bedroom, I'm networking with them. And only later on, I will touch my phone after some morning practices. Same thing with tea. I love tea. I love connecting with people over a tea ceremony. For some, they would say they need a bottle of wine. It's a ritual. It's a ceremony. Some would need maybe something else to have a ceremony around. I like tea. It puts me into harmony. I don't have a phone around the table. I'm able to drink tea with people in harmony, go into very deep discussions, whether it's about life or business strategy. Yesterday, we had tea until 2:00 in the morning, discussing incredible impact investors strategies that they have, like, wow, next level. And all we needed is really good quality tea to bring us together. I have rituals that are connected to drinking a lot of water. During this conversation with you, I had about a liter of water in front of me. I don't drink alcohol, so for me, infused water, high quality tea helps me. I have rituals that are connected to my body. Tony Robbins teaches us a lot that if you want to see any change happening in your life, start by changing your body. It's the easiest way. So I try a few times a week to do something with my body that is uncomfortable, and it helps me be ready for anything that's adjusting in my life. So I really like martial arts. I like to practice with other people. I like to make it challenging for me so that I'm ready for whatever life brings my way. And the biggest hack I have is making sure that I have a lot of free time every single day in my calendar. A lot of free time, just because I want magic to just appear when I least expect it.
Wow. Wow. And I have to say that throughout all this conversation, what I really liked is the fact that you're, on the one hand, very much connected, and I would use the word again, spiritual, and right, you know, in those realms. But on the other hand, you're very much on ground, hands-on. You understand that you have to do the work, and you know how to do the work, but it seems like you know how to combine both worlds of taking the smarts from one world and taking the actions in the other worlds, and always kind of recalculating and redoing it, and find the new ways to make things happening for you and for your environment. And I think that's beautiful. It seems like a harmony. That's a harmony, right? Like when you know how to connect things together. So I want to thank you so much for sharing
Working on it. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, it is harmony. It is daily rituals, daily practice. You know, I was 3 weeks in Dubai just recently, and people would say, "What? You live in Bali? Why do you want to go to Dubai?" Oh my God! But for me, creating that disharmony brings me back to always like, wow, I can actually even bring myself into harmony, even in a place like Dubai. So it's constant practice. I'm not there yet. But every single day I find harmony. Every single day I find balance. Every single day I find peace with whatever it is that I do.
That's beautiful, and that's really inspiring. And I'm sure I took a lot from this interview, and I'm sure our listeners will take as well. So Gil Petersil, quantum networking and mastermind expert, and so much more. First of all, I want to thank you so much for putting the time in your very busy schedule to be here with me and share your amazing experience and smarts. And if you want to follow Gil, you can go to his website, gilpetersil.com, and of course, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, Gil Petersil. Everything will be here right next to this video. And I want to thank you all for watching. Thank you, Gil. Thank you for this then.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching the Liron Glickman Show, the show that explores the human factor around business and entrepreneurship in a hybrid world. Subscribe to the channel, leave your comment next to this video, connect with Gil, and I'll see you next time.